YouTubers, what's going on? Alright, we got the first official upholstery video with the disassembly of this seat. The seat came out in 1996, C3500, aka my dually, my work truck. Alright, so I figured this would be a perfect seat to start off with. But we're going to start this series as, we're going to start this video as a group in a series, because I don't want these videos to be an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours long. So I'm gonna break them up. And this is gonna be the disassembly video. Alright, for most seats, you need like a screwdriver, maybe a 13-14 millimeter socket. It may vary. You might need a 10 to 12, you know what I'm saying, millimeter socket. You may need a start bit, but you don't need a whole bunch of tools. It depends on the make, model, all that stuff, you know what I'm saying, what you need. But a basic little kit will disassemble just about any seat. The second thing you're going to need are these right here. You're going to need these bags. Any kind of custom work you're doing when you're taking something apart and you need to keep track of it, those bags are invaluable, let me tell you. So, you know, I know where this seat come from, so I'm not going to mark the seat and all that other stuff. I just keep my stuff separate with the seats, and my memory is good enough where I can be like, okay, this go with this seat, this go with that seat. If your memory ain't that good, you may want to write on the little white piece, you know what I'm saying, where you're supposed to put the meat and whatever, the date. You might want to put bolts to bottom bracket, or, you know what I'm saying, handle to recline mechanism, you know what I'm saying, whatever you got to do to remind yourself where this stuff came from. Alright, and you're gonna need some wire cutters. My good wire cutters are at the shop, you know what I'm saying, but I use these. If you see the green and the Pittsburgh, you know they came from Harbor Freight, but they do what they do. Alright, so with this seat right here, when I take my seats apart, I like to have them, I don't take them apart in pieces. Like, I don't rip no seams, I don't bust no seams until I'm ready to start making a pattern. That way I don't lose track of what's what. Alright, so from the top part of the seat, you know, that's the finished part. It always look good, you know what I'm saying? So, you know, you ain't going to be taking nothing apart from that. You're going to be flipping the seat over. You may have to take off the mounting bracket or the slide bracket, you know what I'm saying? I don't know how the seat made, depending on the seat. Like I said, everything different. This was different than the Tahoe seat, you know what I'm saying? Came out of same Chevy truck, same model, all that. You know what I'm saying? You might have slight variances or slight deviations between, you know, what you're working on. But they pretty much all the same in a sense, with, you know, slight differences. So you take the seat out the car, or if somebody bring you their seat, you know what I'm saying, you get the seat, inspect it, all that other stuff. But when it comes to disassembly, I take the headrest off mine first. And that was simple. And with this headrest right here, they don't have a headrest on the Tahoe with the Velcro. You know what I'm saying? So I'm going to also use this as my template for my Tahoe seat when I recover the Tahoe seat, because the Tahoe seat is like, I don't know, it's like almost like they made it with the headrest, you know what I'm saying? Like, it don't come off, you know what I'm saying? You had to rip the foam up to come off. It's not a good thing, you know what I'm saying? So I was going to make a cover like this anyway for it, but now I got a template, you know what I'm saying? It make everything that much better. When you doing upholstery, a template make everything better. I know you see people on their videos, they be making patterns or whatever, and then they put the seam allowance and all that other stuff. That's only if you making a pattern. If you take a pattern from the seat and you don't cut none of the pattern off, you can use that same exact pattern for your pattern without adding no seam allowance or anything. See, what I do is I measure their seam allowance. If they got a 1/4 inch seam allowance, then I use a 1/4 inch seam allowance. If they got a 1/2 inch seam allowance, then I use a 1/2 inch seam allowance. and I still use the same pattern they already had made at the factory when they put these things together. You know what I'm saying? So now, without me adding no seam allowance, because I believe that's how people's seats be all baggy. You ever seen a seat and it's all baggy? You know what I'm saying? I believe they take that pattern, spread it out, and then add another 1/2 inch to a pattern. But if you add a 1/2 inch to a square piece of pattern, right? You done added 2 inches, right? You know what I mean? So that's why it be so baggy. You know what I mean? But if you just trace the pattern they got, if you take your time on the disassemble, and that's what part of this video is about. I'm gonna show you what I'm talking about, but that's not gonna be on this one. This is disassembly of the seat to get the fabric off, and then the next video will be making the patterns, and then such and such, so on and so on. So all right, without further ado, let's get it. All right, so like, excuse my setup and everything, because this is my first setup, and I'm confined to a little area. But we're going to make this thing work, all right? Okay, so now we're on the bottom part of the seat. And if you can see back here, let me see, give me 1 second. All right. I ain't moved this side because I already took these 2 bolts out right here, because they tuck the fabric under these rails right here. So I won't be able to get the fabric off if I didn't take at least 2 bolts out, which I took them bolts out and I put them in my bag. So, alright, so now, if you look closely, hold on, let me see, can I help you out real quick? Alright, so, clips like that, like that, like that. Alright, so let me come in so I can narrate. Alright, so these clips that you see, I don't know, we right here. But these are hog nose rings. All these looking rusty looking clips. So what you gotta do is snip all those clips. You snip them all off, and things get loose for you. Sometimes you gotta cut the hog nose 2 times, because I'll show you. It's like a key ring, right? Like if you look at a key ring, all the way around the key ring, it might be wrapped 2 times, but in the little area it's wrapped once. So that's like a hog ring. You know what I'm saying? Like if you cut it in the one part, the one link part, then it'll come off. If you cut it where it's 2, then you're gonna have issue. You had to cut another piece off so it slide out. And depending on the seat, man, you might seem like it'd be 1,000 of these things in here. And if you can't remember what the location for these hog rings is, I advise you to take a picture for your memory. Sometimes people go overboard with these hog nose rings. You know what I mean? They be just going wild with them. Put them everywhere, 1,000 of them. Alright, so see how they had that tuck? Let me see. My bad. Alright. I don't know if y'all saw that, but I'm doing nothing but cutting rings. Make sure you don't cut the springs to the seat. You be in bad shape. Alright, so alright, so that's how they keep the seat looking nice without having all the edges popping out. Alright, so we making progress. I know it seems like it's taking forever, man. But I ain't gonna even lie to you. It take a little bit. I guess that's why you don't see this on the videos. You know what I mean? But you too. I take this time out for you. Huh? the longer handle cutters you got too, the easier it is to pop them wires, the wire cutters off. I mean the hog nose ring. But you know, you can make it work with whatever you got. Might just take a little longer. I told you, man, they use a lot of hog rings, man. I wouldn't lie to you. Yeah, and depending on how old your seat is and how long you had it unoccupied, you might want to wear some gloves because you never know what you find in these mugs. I'm telling you, you never know.